Jackie, and I'm here with Chris of Motionless in White. We are at the very last Camden stop of Warped Tour. I can honestly say that for certain. How many times has your band played Warped, or how many different years?
This is our 9th year of ever appearing on Warped Tour. Fourth full U.S. version of appearing on. That's crazy. 9 different years. Yep.
What have you learned along the way? I'm sure the very first year you pulled up is a lot different from pulling up to a stop now.
Yeah, it's let's see, first time pulling up was in 2005. We won a contest to play in the Ernie Ball Battle of the Band stage. So it was in our hometown of Scranton, and we just rolled up and we're just kind of like just mesmerized by the whole environment of it. And we had been to Warped Tours. Actually, this location that we're at today, Camden, was my first Warped Tour I ever went to as a fan in 2003. So I had been in it. You know, I went to the 2003, 2004 Warped Tours, and then we played in 2005. Just getting there and just kind of like unpacking our stuff out of a van, like our parents' van, and just carrying all of our equipment by hand over to a stage that was a million miles away. It was like, it's amazing how much of a precursor that was, or preface that was, to what would become a lot of years of us on Warped Tour. A lot of hard work and many of the years of pushing our own gear through sand and grass, and just awesome memories of working really hard to be on Warped Tour every year.
Well, and Scranton, you're pushing everything uphill.
Yeah.
And then hoping that it doesn't roll back down when you're done. I've been to that venue. It's pretty steep.
Yes, it is.
So definitely
very spread out too. Yeah.
It is. That one I think is definitely one of the ones that's definitely far. The stages are very far apart. Motionless has been together for over 13 years. It is also Friday the 13th. I don't know if that's just a weird coincidence, but do you have any rituals that you do either right before or right after you go on stage?
On Warped Tour, I don't know if you really consider it to be a ritual, but we actually, on every Warped Tour, we rate how the show was. We don't do that on any other tour. Don't ask me why we started doing it for Warped Tour. I don't know. So after every show, we get together and we're like, what was that? What was that? And we're very actually happy to say that this is the first year, or not the first year, but it's the year with the highest rated shows consistently over all the other years since we started doing it. The shows have just been amazing. So that's something that we do. I guess that would be more of a tradition that rather than like anything else. But we just get ready and warm up and do our normal things. There's no like weird sacrificing of anything or nothing like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you go about choosing your set now, your set list for Warped Tour, when now you have so many albums out and you've been together for so long?
Well, this is also something new that we did a couple headliners in October, and then we did one in Europe, and then we did one in another U.S. one, North American one, earlier this year. And on those tours, we ran into the same issue of like, man, what do we play? So we picked the songs that we knew we wanted to do, and then we left 2 or 3 spots open every day to have like rotating songs of whatever we felt like. So in like October, it was just like if someone really wanted to play a song, we chose it. And then in the most recent North American tour that we did, we had fans vote, and whichever like the top voted non-single was, that's what we put in those spots. For this tour, each band member picks the set list each day. Today was my day.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
So every day is a little bit different.
Yep.
I think that's definitely. I think it's like the next 20 days. There's no off days or something like that. It's like
This is day 2 of 20. This is day 2 of 20.
Yeah. So, I think having variety in your set list, if that's one little thing you can do to keep things a little more, a little more sane, I think that's a great idea. I'm sure the answer to my question first is yes. So what are the plans to follow up last year's Graveyard Shift?
Yes. Right now we've been working on material since I think the beginning of the year, and then we really started working a lot more heavily. We had like 2 months off before this tour, so each one of me, Ryan, and Ricky, our 2 guitar players, started working on stuff individually or with some producer friends that we have, and we have a pretty large bank of stuff as it is now, and we haven't even worked with some of our other friends that we like to work with. So it's been going really, really well. There's some songs that are like right on par that we love that would work with how the Graveyard Shift songs are, and it's just been going really well. So we're gonna try our best right after the tour to get right to it and get in the studio at some point towards the end of the year.
2018 so far, we're only a little bit more than halfway there, has been, I can't even say interesting because that's not even close to being the right word, but what are some things that have gone on maybe in the past year or so that are influencing your current songwriting?
I mean, I feel like we always like to be as honest with people as possible. I think that there's actually, over the past couple months, well, I would say it's from September through about the end of our last headliner, there was actually some pretty negative vibes in our bus amongst a lot of people, and morale was dwindling. Things kind of got a little tense, and that does that every so many years or every so often, where you were just on the road with people so often. And for our headliners, we had like a 15-person. We had a van and a bus with 15 people between it or more, and it just got really, really tense and overwhelming for a lot of people, and it caused some tension. And we took a lot of steps to restore that. Now things are better than they are, and it's like a learning experience that you go through and how to do touring, because it's a violent world, and when you're not trapped, but when you are amongst so many people every single day. And I think I'm going to write something that's going to be about just that overwhelming sense of like feeling just kind of trapped, and you just want to fucking punch through a wall and yeah, you know, like just like all the emotions that you feel when feeling like in that position. And there'll be stuff like that. You know, very happy to say that things are fantastic now, in case you were worried. So there's stuff like that. There's, of course, just different things going on in the world that will probably include, we're not very political, but we are very observant. So it'll be observations and personal opinions about some world issues, whether that be topics of what is going on in our political system, or just human rights, stuff like all the topics that are very relevant right now that people want to talk about. And we've always been a band that tries to stand up for what we believe in, and there's a lot to say in that regard. So just, pretty wide array of things.
Now, being on a tour bus and or van for a very long period of time, or even a short period of time, not as glamorous as it sounds. What kind of jobs did you have growing up as a kid or a young teenager that might kind of shine a glimpse or maybe help you appreciate things a little more now that you've seen it from the other side?
Well, before I was known as Chris Motionless, I was known as Chris from Toys at Walmart. I worked at Walmart for I think 2.5 years or so. That was my first job, 16 through 18, and I got fired because my friends were always up there hanging out. Like after school, my friends would just come there and hang out basically my entire work shift. So it was just, I ended up getting fired for it after a very long time. I was Chris from Toys at Walmart, and then just various retail jobs, and I worked at a tattoo shop and just made my way around, worked for my dad a lot. Just music ended up being the one that I gave everything else up to put the most time towards, and thankfully I did that. Yeah.
I can't imagine being a young person or a teenager in this kind of time period. I think kids and young people turn to music often when things get tough. Why do you think that is?
Well, it could be for a wide array of reasons, and for me, when I look back to why I turned to music, it was because there was always, in any emotional state that I was in, there was an artist that was singing my feelings, whether it be Morrissey, who was talking about, heartbreak, or being kind of the loner and just being quite emotional, or whether it was Bleeding Through, that was the more angry side of those same topics, or just talking about loss of friends and the people around you. And there's always a band that just I related to for any emotional state, and that's what seemed to make me feel like the most comfortable to experience those things, is that other people were, and they were saying exactly how I felt. And I don't know why that is, that people feel better when having that connection to a total stranger, but they do. And it's been really, really awesome to hear that now, all these years later, our lyrics have been able to provide that for people. And I talk to people every day at my TEI classes that say that our music has done that, and it's amazing to have been a fan and still very much a fan of many, many bands that do the same thing for me and also get to do that for people. So it's been really cool.
I like that. So lyrics can be very powerful. They can be funny. They can be dark, happy, silly, anywhere in between. So now Chris is going to take part in our public domain challenge, and he's going to put his own twist on a popular favorite.
I chose out of your booklet. I'm going to do a dramatic spoken word of Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great, great big fall. All the king's horses and all of the king's men sadly could not put Humpty together again. End scene.
And see, now we're going to have to wait until Motionless and White comes out with new music. Until then, please be sure to check them out on Vans Warped Tour. This is Jackie, thanks to Chorus FM, and In the Key of Change.